data and AI and data engineering, data analytics, and AI engineering, AI automation, right? And this class in which you've joined is like our um, training, free training weekend. So definitely we have classes like this. Our plan is to hold classes like this once a month. So that once a month might not, this is very intensive, but might not be that intensive. Might just be that, okay, we are teaching on maybe DAX this weekend, DBT another weekend, you know, DBT another weekend. It might be that we are teaching on Airflow in one weekend. It might be that we are teaching on Excel, on Power BI in another weekend. So that is the way all those other weekends will be, not like this that we are trying to bring up a whole lot of people to speed. But thank you, Marvelous. Thank you for joining. Right. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys. So right now, right about now, we are, starting up this lecture, and that's sums it up. Like I need to go now. Like I think I've introduced myself quite a number of times. I'm Ezekiel, a data engineer and AI engineer, and also a cloud platform engineer. And I am happy to have you guys here. So the next thing is for us to start. The preambles of this course is that you'd have watched a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of YouTube streams, a lot of Netflix, a lot of bank. You've done a lot of bank transactions, and wonder how Netflix, is being able to create a system whereby when you watch some kind of movies over and over, when you watch some kind of movies over and over, it's kind of recommend same movie to you, kind of recommend some kind of same movies to you, and you need to begin to look at, okay, what what exactly makes those people be able to recommend this recommend this at every time to us. So uh, please, can you please share with me, can you see my screen? Because I'm sharing my screen. I am not sure if you can see my screen. I'm sharing a screen for the slide. Can someone just send me a message in the chat? Can you see my screen? The screen for this, you know, is there anyone there at the other end? Can you see my screen? Anyone on the chat? Please use your chat. Can you see my screen? Can you see the slide I'm sharing, please? I would like to know. Okay, the slides are not up. So let me try and reshare my screen because I can see the slide. Okay, let me try something. Instead of sharing one window, let me entire window. Right. Um what about now? Can you see the screen? Or is it that it's loading up? Um what about now? Can you see? Can you see? Can someone just tell me if you can? What about right now? Right now. Okay, it's on now. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is great. So, a brief introduction about myself. I'm Ezekiel, a data and AI engineer and cloud platform engineer, and I know quite a number of people in the group, connected with me through either LinkedIn, TikTok. I do short videos like that on TikTok, do short videos like that on Instagram, and YouTube as well. This is my own personal YouTube channel, and you can find some data engineering videos on tools, on integrations, on SQL, and like so now I have already started to cover all this place just because you guys haven't been able to see. Now, I imagine Netflix, right? You know, you'd have wondered why you pay to Netflix, kind of pay to Netflix, and you watch some kind of movies over time, and you notice that when you open your Netflix, even 2 3 months later, they are suggesting some kind of, you know, some kind of this thing to you. What kind of architecture, who are those people that make that kind of intelligence happen? Because all those things don't just happen. It's an algorithm in which people write. It's some people were sitting down behind writing something, programming something for you to have. What about banks processing a lot of transactions? You know, they process millions, you know, terabytes or petabytes of data, and you know, it's everything most smoothly almost every day. Uber, you know, having to have like a live GPS transaction, right? And Amazon and like. So there are some people called the data engineers, right? They make build systems that make this thing possible. And I'm going to let you know that every tech company and the beginning of every kind of tech, you know, every kind of tech solution starts with those people called the data engineer. Do you know why? Because they are the one that build APIs, you know, feeds data. Oh, is it not yet displaying till now? Because I think I can see, is the screen not yet displaying till now? Can anyone hear me in the chat? Can you please put it in chat if you can still see my screen? Right? I believe the screen is on. Anyone on the chat? Can you see my screen right now? Okay, so I think I can see it from here, right? So yeah, okay, great, great, great. So you know, platform like Uber, like Amazon, like Netflix, you know, do some people build that kind of system, and you are able to have that, you know. And you know, my objective for this, you know, there's the whole discourse, and I think this first part would be for you guys to be able to understand who those people are, the data engineers. Then I'm kind of switching it up a bit because the thing was very basic before, because I was just looking at us, you know, just diving a bit into SQL. But I want to really switch it up, and today we'll start with Python refresher course, and that was why I sent that uh, installation guide for everyone that has installed that. So please type on the comment section that okay, I have installed my Python interpreter, and you know, I've installed also VS Code, because I will be working with that, you know. And so I believe that the data engineers are those that build that system, you know, whether it is called an ETL, whether it's called an ELT system, but any system, you know, that picks up data from a source, you know, transforms the data and put up a kind of architecture, a kind of maybe schema design, data warehousing design, and feeding the dashboard, you know, it's those people that build that system is called a data engineer, right? And I used to hear this question so much. And okay, that is, let's just working back slides. We said the data engineering is process of designing, building, and maintaining systems that collect data, you know, store, transform, and deliver for data analysis. Not only data analysis, you know, for machine learning models, you know, business analysts, but every every you know, part of every tech role, every tech great business is starting out there. You know, the foundation of every business is having a data engineer, because you know, you can't build a software without data. So definitely someone building the bringing the data systems together, right? That's why I said data engineering is just beyond, you know, it's just beyond collecting data for a dashboard. You know, there are some projects that you embark on. That's why in some roles, for some people that has been in data roles, you notice that in some roles they will be advertising data roles for you. and be telling you that you have to have software engineering skills. And that is the reason, you know, why it's like that. Because a data engineer should, on such occasion, also be able to write codes like, a software engineer, right? So there are so many definitions, or from books, from internet, that you can. So we don't want to spend so much time gravitating to definitions because we have a whole lot of work. But today, I promise you, we are starting a Python refresher course. That's for people that has been coding before, that has some coding knowledge. For people that has no coding knowledge, please, when I tell you to do anything, please just, if I tell you to write if on your PC, just write if, you know just follow me first. One of the ways I designed to learn to do things right is, I like I said, I'm a I studied accounting as my first degree. I am a excellent bass guitar player, and I've come to decide on four pillars of learning any new skill. Number one is imitation. Number two is when you understand. Number three is when you practice. Then four is when you now become have to have mastery on that which you are doing. So those things work in anything you want to learn in life, and it's as I've repeated it first, second, and this is the third time. Let's go that no personal informations, but please, once I just tell you, do this, with time you get familiar with some things, and I will try as much as possible for everyone joining this call to be able to say, okay, today I learned foundations of writing Python code. That's for those that have not been coding. Right. So let's go to the next one. We said, okay, who is a data engineer? We've already classified it that they collect data from multiple sources and bring it together, for business, or let's put it for business use and intelligence, you know, and intelligence. So let's now go into the differences of a data engineer and a data analyst. I hear this a lot, especially from people that don't really understand, so much about the data field. I hear this a whole lot. What is the difference? I've come to tell you today that you can't be a data, you know, engineer without being an analyst. You cannot be a data engineer without being an analyst. You must first understand maybe the principle of analytics, the principle of data modeling. You must first understand such principles, to be able to to be able to even navigate in being a data engineer. Now, we said the data engineer builds and maintain data system, data analysts, extract insights, the data engineers build pipeline, warehouse, and API being their outputs. Data analysts, they build reports, dashboards, and the likes. And the data analyst core focus is on infrastructure, you know, uh, and data movement, business metrics and trends, then the primary tools of data engineering. For me, I would say the primary tool is, you know, Python and SQL, because when you mention Postgres is a kind of framework for Python. When you mention Airflow, it's a kind of framework. When you mention PySpark, is a kind of framework. So, and on the other hand, we have, you know, um, data, engineering side using Excel, SQL, and Power BI. So I would like to, to go back to the charts. I like to go back to charts. So okay, yes. So that is that about, that. Then the next is, what are the daily responsibilities of who those data engineers are? When you say someone is a data engineer, what is your daily responsibilities? What are the things you should do? Now, the first common one in which everybody knows is that you build ETL pipelines. Now, ETL pipelines is just like maybe the cap, the the banner of what the data engineer does, but I can challenge you that there are, a number of things you'll be doing as a data engineer. Quite a number of things you'll be doing as a data engineer. The first, maybe the popular one, is ETL pipelines. The next one is like database design. You know, integration, API integration. You integrate a lot of APIs. And for people that joined yesterday's class, we did some concept about understanding APIs with a no code environment. But here we'll be writing the codes, the request body, to be able to integrate data from any API, which is will be a later time in the course. A data engineer manage big data, optimize SQL queries, maintain data warehouse, automate workflows, and monitor, data quality. Now, I really want to speed up. I believe you can read this. Now, these are the important part of data engineering, which is the data engineering life cycle. Please, if you think I'm going too fast, you can just type in the chat. Let me know if you are really following me. Let me know if you are really following. Anyone there is still following? Let me know that someone is following. Someone is at the end of the call. Just type I am here. I am here in the comment section. I am still here. Come on now. Come on now. Yeah, yeah. So if it will require you to, have your shots jotter and pen, I would appreciate that. It's not like the meet where we have to open up the mic for people to talk, right? And the first in the data engineering lifecycle, which is what does a data engineer do all around. The first is that you will always have to get data from a source. To get data from a source, which would always be either an API, which will always be either a database system, a data warehouse. It might be a downstream, maybe a data lake. It depends. Yours is to just be able to understand the authentication procedure of a data source, being able to get data from that system, whether it's even through web scraping, through the internet as well, and being able to write a kind of program whereby you are going to efficiently get data from it, and then transform those data and build a whole lot of architecture system in which you are able to provide the data to the end user, your end user, which might, be your end user might be your data analyst, BI developers, might be your business analyst, your end user might be your the end user of your product as a data engineer, might also be stakeholders, some other stakeholders. And in some companies right now, why we are trying to merge, that's why particularly we are trying to merge the data engineering class with analytics. Some company right now demand even data analysts to have some, you know, skills of a data engineer. So the first thing is for you to be able to ingest data. When we talk about ingestion, data ingestion, collect data from sources. Then one part that is still part of this ingestion, in which I did not put, is that you integrate. Integration is when you bring it from those different sources and you integrate into a usable source, maybe a central source, for the organization, maybe getting from different APIs into a data lake. Do you know that is the first part in which you need to understand. Then for every data engineer, they learn to clean and transform data. So your knowledge of SQL, your knowledge of Excel is being amplified here, because Excel SQL is being amplified because for data engineers, SQL is the first primary language in which because we are going to go there, because what we'll be writing, even though within inside Python, we'll be writing some SQL, syntax within Python, when you're trying to integrate. So it depends. So you clean and transform, then you load to a source. When you load, then you serve. Serving data, might be that, okay, when you are loading to a target, tables, maybe your target table is BigQuery. So your serving data now will now be that, okay, you are converting that raw data into something like a star schema. I would get there. Just put that in star schema in your left hand. We'll get there when we go to get to that data modeling. And for those that have some idea of analytics, they understand to an extent what I'm saying. But if you have zero idea of analytics or engineering, just know that there's something that is called a star schema. And the star schema, the way you draw a star is that there is a central table called the facts table, surrounded by um different dimension table. That is the idea of having what they call a star schema, right? And the final part is that they also monitor, they monitor the architecture in which they build. One part I think might not be here is orchestration, orchestration and automations, right? It's also the duty of a data engineer to understand how to orchestrate workflows, how to automate workflows, you know. Um, Now let us go to some modern data architectures. Modern data architectures, data sources, like I said, can be databases, which can be your Excel, it can be flat files such as Excel. We call the likes of Excel, CSVs, package files. We call them, some kind of flat files. And the flat files, it can be, APIs, it can be through your CRMs, the things you can, for the working class guy, we can easily relate with. You get those things in which I feel you can easily, relate with over time, right? So now let's look into, then we have ingestion. So these are just part of it. We have Kafka, Airflow can either serve as an orchestration to, or so to some extent they also call it ingestion to. Then we have other frameworks, in which has been built around data ingestion, such as Airbyte, so which are not here, such as Airbyte, and the recent no code automation tools such as Anything, can also serve API integration and kind of a data collection process for maybe some kind of workflows. But the definitely we can't count it out as part of it also. So we have, for some people, we have that works in like e-commerce and the like. I know there are other tools such as Fivetran, that houses this kind of data movement in which you can also, connect into to get data. So there are so many patterns of tools for data injection. But then we have the data lake system. Definitely, if you are working with data with cloud, you are working with the likes of AWS, you are working with the likes of S3, you are working with Azure Blob Storage. Then for transformation, majorly, I think with the updates on current way in which data engineers work, one tool is standing out so much, which is called DBT. DBT is just like an SQL, an amplified SQL, is just like when you hear DBT, just now it's a framework of SQL, and we will get there, right? Then PySpark, which is used for big data, right? You know, so then data warehouse, you have Snowflake, we have BigQuery, which is from Google. We have Redshift, which is from AWS. Then we also have Azure Synapse Analytics, which is then Databricks, which is the new one of the new common tools. Then the BI part, we have Power BI, definitely, which everybody is used to, and the Tableau. So um the like I said, the whole concept of what a data engineer does is, wrapped into the, common aspect of, extract, transform, and load, extract, load, and transform. So I believe, that is one of the very main key aspect of what a data engineer does for any company, right? Extract, transform, and load, extract, load, and transform, right? So, what is extract, transform, and load? You get the data, you transform, within your code, and you load directly into, the BI aspect in which you are serving. So businesses right now, they now look at a way whereby, okay, they want to be seeing an historical record of their data, right? You are getting maybe a financial data. Imagine getting financial record of a bank and transforming without saving it somewhere, just transform and, and you're just trying to make decision without knowing that okay, maybe some transactions failed and it was retried, definitely. So the new and cloud approach to data, or the new approach to data, which is now the extract, load, and transform, now looks more valid, whereby people need to load, you know, they need to load the data into a central, you know, uh, data lake, system, whereby you can now write a downstream ETL. So data engineering ecosystem, I would have to stop in some instant in a part here, right? Because I really want us to touch some of the practical aspects, before leaving. So the data engineer, ecosystem, there are a lot of it, a lot of things we can talk about. Relational database, we talk about Postgres, MySQL, SQL Server. Then for programming, basically, like I said, the foundation is Python and SQL. Which is for querying, scripting, building data pipelines. Then orchestration and ETLs, like I said, orchestration and ETLs, what you use mostly Apache Airflows, your Azure Data Factory, and the recent upcoming no coding tools, which I believe the one that is much more powerful for some set of jobs. I've not used some others, but I've used anything I make. So I've used Flowise, but I believe so far anything has been a very powerful tool, right? For no coding, that aligns well with data engineering. Now for cloud platforms, AWS, obviously Microsoft Azure, then Google Cloud. Then for versioning, we use Git and GitHub, right? So I believe I okay. Let me just try and wrap up this. Then we can yeah. I think I just have three more slides. Then we'll go into the practical class, right? So for the data engineering career path, you know, career roadmap, the first thing, like I said, is to master SQL, understand SQL to a satisfying point. Even till now, I still practice SQL on Rank and the likes almost every time. So I'm going to show you some of the platforms in which you can practice SQL even after these classes, and you can get better by the day. Do you get? Then you have to learn Python for ETL and automation, and because of the number of frameworks that has been built around Python, then cloud platform and warehouses, you have to build projects for you to get hired, build realistic projects. Okay, so hands-on projects. Okay, there are a lot of hands-on projects. We will go through all this, in this. Now, from here, I want you all to move to your VS Code, right? To move to your VS Code. Though I've started something here, so I call it a Python refresher course, but is going to be for those that you know do not have a knowledge of coding. Then this will be that to install VS Code. You can just go to your Google Chrome and write install VS Code. Right? I believe you should be able to you know follow the path. This for Windows, then for Mac you should have that, but I have also delivered that in a doc in which I shared. Then to install a Python interpreter, you can also go and get what Python, install Python. Let's say install Python, then it will give you a link to Python's official page, their official page, for you to be able to install. Then you can choose the kind of interpreter you want to install. Then you download this. I think this is the official page. You go there, you download you know the interpreter you want, and be able to get going. So now, the first part in which we'll look into, right? I want to teach everyone on this because part of this is also to be able to start a project as a data engineer. This is the part where you just obey everything I'm saying. So go to your command prompt, and maybe when you watch this video over again, you should be able to understand. Go to your command prompt and type, you know, cd. I want to put this project in a document file, so I want it to be cd documents, right? Then um can I want you guys, as you are, you know, typing on your laptop. I want to see it in the comment section. I'm on my VS Code. I'm on my VS Code. I'm on the command prompt. So you guys have to follow. It has to be a class where everyone is following me, right? I want to see you type. I want to see you type. I'm on VS Code. I'm on command prompt, right? Can someone just type? I'm on VS Code. I'm on command prompt. If you can still hear me, let me know that you are following so that I can know that I'm not the only one. I'm on VS Code. I'm on command prompt. Who is there? Who is there? Who is there? Okay, now so then the first thing we want to do is to create a directory for the project. So we can just do that with using mkdir. So I want to make the name of the project maybe day one, right? So I want to now move into that directory. Now cd, the meaning of this cd, sorry about that. The meaning of cd means change directory. The meaning of mkdir means make directory. Change directory, make directory. So day one. So then I want to from here move into, you know, my my VS Code. I can just type code space, then full stop, dot, code space, dot. Now remember cd, I'm putting the project file into documents. Then in documents, I want the whole project to be packaged together in a folder. It's just like I move into document folder in your laptop. What we call a directory is a document, just like documents in your phone, in your laptop. So I moved into the document folder from the shell. Then I create another folder called day one. Now the change directory again is that I move into that day one folder. Then using this code dots, if you have installed VS Code, like I did, things I sent, and you press enter, it would automatically take you into a VS Code, to open up a VS Code and take you into VS Code, right? So some other things, when you want to make a file, like you make this file. So I'm going to teach you some other commands, right? So in Python, there is so for now, eh, these parts, just do copy and paste. We will get there before next week on how to create, folders from the interface right here, from the terminal to create folders. So, but just do copy and paste from requirements.txt, requirements. So create a file called requirements.txt, requirements.txt. Then now to open up your terminal, just press Control Shift. I did something in which I did not show you guys. So to do that on your PC, just press Control Shift, and where you have number 5, you are using a Windows. So or your Control and backtick first. Yeah, Control Shift and Control and backtick. So you find your backtick on your tab where you have the tab section. You find backtick, be close to your escape button. So you find a backtick there, Control and that. Then if you want to split it into two, like I love to do, to have like 2 3 terminals, so you just have to put Control Shift and number 5. So that splits it into two. Now, the command I want to write now, for now, you just do copy and paste. I want to create what they call a Python environment. For now, because we will need this, just do copy and paste. So I want to Python minus m minus mvenv. So I want to call it d. So I'm creating a Python environment. You just do what you just need. Don't try to think of what I'm doing. What you just need to do eh, is to just do copy and paste. Do Python minus m venv, then d. Just do copy and paste. When it gets to time when I'm explaining why I'm doing these things, you will understand. So that alone will create a folder here for your Python interpreter to use. Do you get? It creates a folder here for your Python interpreter to use. So is someone following? Who is following me? Right? It creates a folder for your Python interpreter to use. So the next thing, the next part of it, right? I'm trying to check some messages, right? Okay. So the next thing in which we have to do, right, from the is to create, right, is to okay, still the is still creating still creating the virtual environment. So let's just wait while it creates the virtual environment. So I think we are done with the slide aspect. We can take this off right now. Then focus on the things we are doing right now. Okay, now it's finished creating the. So what we need to do to activate this, you know, just anyone still there seeing my screen? Okay, okay. Now to activate your Python environment, so what you need to do is to just type Python, or to just type, okay, that's directory, right? Why is this slowing down? Come on. So we want to activate the directory, so we just need this to be what? The the name of the directory, then scripts, script as in script here, scripts, 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 scripts / activate, right? If you can see that scripts, then I've been able to activate, my. Now, for this introduction course, we will need a library called, so in that requirement.txt you created ipy kernel. It's similar to your Jupyter notebook, ipy kernel. So I want to save. Then this command again, follow me, just write pip. Pip is like a installer, it's like our Apple Store. When you are writing Python, it's like our Google Play Store, right? Pip install. Then we need a flag called read -r. Then we want to install, read everything here and install it. So where we put our packages, right? Requirements, requirement.txt. So So you should see that, install the packages you need. You should see that install the packages you need, right? So the final, the directory in which I've prepared for the course, the final thing which, you know, move to the directory, the final thing is that come to this place and create something like I and create something say day one dot ipy notebook, day1 dot ipy notebook. Um, day1 dot ipy notebook. You can have that installed, then we can have maybe a code too. Then we can, continue with this. So I've already prepared a directory this in which I've structured everything we are doing. So I need to move back to that same directory. So yes. So now I think we are going to learn, writing Python codes on this is learning to print. Print is just a way of seeing what you are, you know, doing on Python, what you are writing. So print is I can just print anything, right? This is the first day in Python. So, instantly I have, that's uh I have oh sorry. So instantly I have that. Now the next thing we need to look at is, you know, the inputs. There is the inputs, method try to get, input from it, that whatsoever it is you add into the input is what Python is going to, print out for you. So to have this right is just to, let me not even put it as a variable, you know yet. So I want this. Now before I can continue, you can see it's giving me the same prompt, you know that I am giving out, that, I just put Shola. But the thing is, it's showing it like I can still make the program more fancy just the way like I did. It's just showing Shola. Then if I want to really, okay, let's just leave it this way. Then let us also put a kind of print with formatting. Let's say I want to make 2 lines in my print statement. I want to make like a 2 line in my print statement, like I I am I'm trying not to be too fast. Please, are you guys following? Right? Are you guys following? Let me know. You can just leave your laptop and just, type a bit. I am still here. Put I am still here. I am still here. So we are doing a Python refresher for everyone, because when we start trying to write some kind of code block, let us build together, because I am thinking not everybody on this course writes Python before. So let's build everyone along together. I can believe you from the next class is going to get, kind of bigger and bigger. So someone should just stay, I am still following, I'm still following. Let me know, I am still following, I'm still following. Okay. Print I am Bamidele. right? I am Bamidele. Then I want it to, kind of generate a new line for me, right? Kind of generate a new line for me. So I can just put backslash n and put, you know, uh, sorry, within this, just to put a backslash n and still write something. I am a Python developer. I love coding. So let us print. So it's going to show us, oh, we have inputs in there. So let me just put Shola first so that the inputs, the code with the inputs can, so you can see this is, um, let me take this off so we can just see the last code itself, right? I am Bamidele. That's the first line. The second line, a Python developer. I love coding. It's different from this, which is just one line. So the next thing we are looking at is, formatting your, you know, formatting your print statement with the F string. With this, you can format your print statement. All you just have to do is to add like an F string, to the front of your print statement, and you are able to format. That's just all you need. Now let us now go to the part in which we are, called for as data guys. Now, which is, you know, data types, variables, type conversion, and understanding operators. This is the core part of Python programming, in which I think every one of us on this call as a data professional would need, you know, the core part in which we will need. Now, the first aspect is data type, variables. Now, the same way you understand English language, right? Let me liken Python to English language. It's the same way we look at the concept of variables. You know, in mathematics, you understand that x equals to 5. The kind of variables in which you put x equals to 5, y equals to 6, 7. So a variable is just like, a an item that holds an object, a container holding an object. So for example, for variables, I can say, okay, x, let's say x name, let's call name to be my variable. Name equals Bamidele. Name equals Bamidele. So, right, name equals Bamidele. Then let's try to print name. So now we are not printing the string, but we are printing name. So it's showing us that the name of the person joining is Bamidele. So now, then let's say x as a variable equals to 5, right? X equals to 5. Then let's say you are trying to write 5 variables together. So you can do that by separating them by a semicolon. Let's say y equals to 10, y equals to 10, equals to assignment operator 10. Then let's say z equals to 15. Z equals to 15. Now we want to print name, and we want to print x. We want to print y. We want to print y, and we want to print z. We want to print what? Print z. Z. So just the print right now. So we are able to, wrap those into now. Number two is, now, how do you now check the type of the data type? As a data analyst, data engineer, work with data types, string, numbers. Then we want to now start checking for the type. What are the data types like. So for name, let's say type of name first. So in Python, to check data types, you have to put the word type in it. You know, that gives us the class to be a string. Now the next part we need to go into, right? So let me know if you are still following. Let me know if you are still following data types, right? Okay, so the other part in which we are going to look at, is understanding, the data types itself. What are data types? For any kind of operation you want to do, for any kind of transformation you want to do in data analytics, data engineering, and even in anything programming, you need to understand, the concept of data types. You need to understand. Now, the same way you have understood in the past that, okay, we have integers, we have floats, we have string, we have list, we have tuple. Now, integers, like we have x before. We have x, we've defined x in here. So we want to print, the type of x for integer values, just like your numbers. What's your normal numbers? Let's say the type of x. Now, what is the type of x? It's going to show us that x is an integer. Now we want to print. Now, to write a string, you would have remembered that I wrote something like name. Let's Okay, I want to use this also to teach something similar. Okay, I want to change that name variable to what? I want to reassign that variable of name to another object. Let me say, just say, uh okay, don't let me go complex, because I'm trying to reshape time equals to name, just to equals to name variable now. But to write any string first before we reassign, let's say name, to write the name variable, your string must have what? Anything. Your string must be into what? Your quotation marks, right? Into uh your quotation marks. It must have two quotation marks in between. Then you can now write the object in between the quotation marks. Then that is that name. So we want to print name now, and that is what I've done. Okay, let's say I want to now change the name. I want to reassign it to time, and I want to print what is in time. You see that the type is string, and let me remove the type for you to see what is going to carry. It will still carry the name in which I added to the type, right? So the name in which I added to the type. Now, like float, you should remember in mathematics that if you are saying num equals 1.0, right? That's, and want to check the type of this, the type of 1.0 of num. Let's print the type. Let's print the type of num, the type of num. You are going to have it as float, right? We are taking all this time to for everyone to understand. Now let's now go to one very important part in data world. Very, very important data type when it relates to data and data world, which is called lists. Let me put it as lists. Lists. So to have a list, or let me put it as LST, I think. To have a list, right? To have a list, it's any kind of thing you enter in Python, any kind of number of data types, you enter, that is more than one, in which you enter into a square bracket, is classified to be a list. So it can be a list of string, can be a list of integers, whatsoever it is. For this, you're having what? A list of integers. Let me just put it that way. Or let's just, for it to be relatable, we have data engineer. let's say data engineer, or let's call these jobs or job titles, job underscore title, job title. We have data engineer. We have data scientist, data analyst. So I want to create another, list of what's integers. Let's say years of experience, years of experience, years of EXP. P stands for experience. Now we want it to be a list of maybe two, three, four. Now when we check the type like we are doing, let's check now what is the data type of this. What is the data type of this? Let's check the data type of what a job title is. A job title. Let's check data type of what a job title is first. Then what do we have? We'll see that okay, we are printing, right? Let's check the data type. We don't want to print. We want to check the data type of what the job title is. Want to check the data type. You'll see that the last thing you have as a print statement is that the data type is what? A list. The data type is a list. So you will see that the last thing we have is that the data type is a list. So, and the next part in which you look at. So let me, before I continue, for those that are still online, right? Let me know that you are following. I am following. Let me know that you are following. Someone just tell me I am still following. I am still here. I am still following. I am still here. I am still following. I am still here. Can someone just let us know in the comment section? I am still following. Sorry, I need to pick up my power bank just to plug my phone. Right, I am still following and I am still here. Just type. Let me see in the comment section. Let me see in the comment section. I'm still following. I'm still, yeah, marvelous. Yeah, great. So then the next thing we are going to look at, we stop at the list. Then I'm going to go into the dictionaries and the tuples. Dictionaries and tuples. Dictionaries and tuples, right? Dictionaries and tuples. So a dictionary, on the other hand, is has a similar characteristics to what a list, a similar characteristics to a list, but as it's being grouped in a key value pair, kind of key value pair, where you can have a key and a corresponding value with it. So this is a list. Okay, let me try and label them. So okay, I believe when we have the video we can follow along. So then dictionary, let's go to dictionaries. Dictionaries, DICT, right? Dictionaries, right? I want the name of my dictionary. Remember that we have been building it step by step. Then right now we have employee underscore info. We want to have a set of, we are already learning how to build data, bit by bit. Employee info, which we have the key, you know, is name. Let's say that his name is Bamidele, his age. Let's say his age is, let's say 29, or let's say 30. Anyway, let's say 30. His job title is a data engineer. we are trying to give, let's say years of experience. Let's say his years of experience is 5. Then we let's say we need his years of experience is 5. Then right now we need to um print. Let's say I want to print for this data, right? I want to first check the type. When you check the type, you are going to see something like a dictionary. Now, for you to understand the attribute of this, dictionary, I want to print what one after the other. I want to print, you know, you know, to print employee, employee info dots. Let's say we just want to print the keys, print the keys. Now you can see that the keys to it are name, job title, name, age, job title, and now let's say I now want to print the values. Values to print the values to get the corresponding values. These are the names first. To get the corresponding values, the names, that I will get this, the keys, the values, the keys, the values, the keys, the values, the keys, the values. So let me give you 1 minute for you guys to still be able to, um, to work on this. For those that are still with me, you know, I hope you are still coding, because I am looking at us, being able to do the Python refresher course, you know. Oh yeah. So the Python refresher course, I am still waiting for you guys, as much as possible, so that when we start writing the big codes, so you can also still be able to follow along, right? You can also still be able to follow along. You can also still be able to follow along. You can be able to follow along, right? So the next part of it is, now let before we go into operations, mathematical operations, that so what I just want you to do in this process is, as I'm telling you to write this, just write, follow along. So when you watch the videos again during the week, you are able to internalize, you are able to understand, okay, what that guy is saying, what that guy is talking about. You're able to internalize. Then the last data types, I think every, every um every engineer and analyst should know. We've talked about, okay, dictionaries, then very important part of this. Let's talk about tuples, right? So let me give a variable name to my tuple, a variable name to my tuple, which is that I want to call the variable name animals, right? Animals. Now, the difference between a tuple and what? The difference between a tuple and a a dictionary is that a dictionary is enclosed by a square bracket, while a tuple is enclosed by the normal bracket in which you have. So which is lion. So I want to have a tuple of maybe strings. Let's say I have dog, right? Dog, right? Cats, cow. Let me just put all these guys. Now, when you go and check, okay, now one very important thing you need to know about a tuple is that a tuple is not mutable, right? When we say mutable in coding, it means you can't change a tuple. It's like a static type. Uh, you can't change to it. For example, I'm going to go into some methods, in in the methods we are going to look at like 2 or 3 important data types, just look at two, three methods, then we'll go into the calculation aspect of it. We'll go into the calculation aspect of it, of the arithmetic aspect of using Python for data solutions, arithmetic aspect. And this set of are very, very, this is the most important foundations you need as a data guy, as a anyone that wants to go into data. This is the most important foundations you need to lay. So I believe maybe should, in case you know people watch later, maybe they are, but I really want us to practice along as we go into this. Right. The next thing is we've talked about tuple. Okay, we want to check the type of this tuple we created. Print. We want to print what's the type of animals, right? You will see that it is called a tuple. Now let us go into some methods. Some methods. I need a code. Some methods, for some methods. Um, let's go into some methods. Some other methods for these data types. Let's start from um, methods for lists. I'm just going to touch you know important data types, very important data types we need. you know then others you can go read through the Python documentations. Let's start from lists lists, right? LST. Let me just put that LST. So for methods for lists, we have our list. What is our list again? Which is job title, right? Now we want to add into a list. Let's say add, let's addition to a list. We want to add, let's say, job title, job title. Then to add to a list, we use the method called append mode. So let's add this, apparently this title. Now, once we added to the list, we want to check back. Is there any update we have in this list right now? So you will see that with that little command dot append, it has added one more job role to the list. Now, when I use the another method from job title, let's just not remove. I want to pop data analyst, or I just want to pop list dot pop. So I want to pop with index, rather. I want to pop with index 0. So let us pop. You will notice that when we print it back, index 0 means it removes the kind of indexing we have in Python is that 0, 1, 2, this becomes 3, after we append, you know. Now let us add. Now we've been able to pop that. Now another, this thing is to be able to print the index. So let us print, like, to be able to understand the index of the list, want to understand that same job title. So let's say we want to understand if you want to print, if you want to get back, if you want to get back the new 0, right? Okay, let me add that of data engineer back after this pop. Let me just say job title, there's append job title, dot append. So I want to add it back for you to understand how to add, data engineer. want to append data engineer, then we now want to print. You'll see that right now is telling us that the one in position 0 is data scientist, and we have 0, 1, 2, 3. Data engineer now becomes the last. Now let's go. So, and on and on and on for it. You can just, for you to know the methods that are available for any data type, just type job title, and I'm going to show you this. So that when you are coding, it's easy to locate everything you want. Job title, then just put dots. Then you begin to see remove, pop, insert, you know, sort. Let's these major classes: append, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, sort, clear, reverse. So you can just go through all those things, and you are able to understand Python. So whatsoever class you are using in Python is like when we get to OOPS, object oriented programming. So you'll be able to understand, that all these things are being written as a body of code, you know, into everything. Like I said, this is a Python refresher course, for data engineers or for data analysts, that have knowledge of coding, looking to go into data engineering. And for those that have not written in anything on coding before, what you just have to do, like I said today, is to what? Just imitate. Then when you go back to the videos, when you sit down and you begin to make even more research, then you'll be able to understand these lines of code. These things are very, big things in which I've been able to try to compress for you into something you can understand at a glance. So, um, that being said, now we need to run, and I think at this point, I think I've covered this already, the methods of pop, and you can see everything in which I'm saying. So for this, I'm going to skip this, but at least I'll share this .py file with the group, so you can have the .py file in which we work on and see some things in which now the where we are going to stop tonight. And I think we'll pick up conditional statements in the next class, where we are going to stop tonight. Okay, which I think we still have time, so we can still do one or two more, right? We want to go into operations, in Python. Operations in Python, you would have the same way you understand your mathematics, your basic elementary mathematics to be x plus y equals to, you have your linear functions. The same way you have, it's the same way we have it in Python. So we'll start from understanding basic mathematics, right? Your normal addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, then the modulus sign, then the raised to power. So we'll start by, making every one of us really be able to understand this. Now, the first thing we need to look at is in arithmetic is, you'll remember that we have a variable called x. So let me just bring it down here. So we can have print underscore x, print underscore x, so that we can remember it on this print underscore y, right? Let's just print x, print y, and let's print z. I think there's something to, I think I wrote z starting the, okay, yes, I wrote z. So we'll just use this for the arithmetic aspect of everything. And I believe at the end of this, we will be able to call this section a day. Then we look at, uh, the next time we'll be meeting like this together, right? So For we'll look at next time. So for addition, just like the way we can just print, print, your x plus y, x plus y, right? I don't want to print this again. So let me just, since I have this, so I want to print x plus y. If x is 10, y is 5, then x plus y is 15. So some other, let's say we want to print, y minus x, y is bigger than x. So let's, just like your normal daily mathematics, you know, you will want to print, you want to print, division. Now, this division, right, is a division with whereby you have everything back. X, you know, minus x. It's going, this kind of division will show you everything. Will show you not just the whole number, but the both the decimals at the back of the whole number. Okay, I want to do something to be, let's say 18. Let's say q is equals to 18. So, okay, let's now say q divided by x. Q divided by the x we have stated, x equals to 5, you know. So you see that we have 3.6. Now, multiplication just the same way. Let's say print, we want to multiply, q times x. What do we have? 90, right? Now, one part in which I am now, you want to multiply, you want to divide, division without having the remainder. So the same way we printed the first division, I want us to print q, and you see that the first time we have the remainder, right? Then check this right now. Q, what do you see? You see that it's coming without the remainder, right? It's coming without the remainder. So then the last part, which is, raised to power 1, 2, then we have q modulus, for the modular sign is making us to know that when you divide q, now when you, let's do this again so you can really understand. Print q, the normal division right now, q divided by, you know q divided by x. You see that q divided by x, you have 3.6. The modulus the modulus is going to give us the number of times in which a value, is going to be found in the, subject value in which we are talking about. So we can only find 5 in 18 3 times, not looking at the remainder, right? So, and for exponential, we have to print, let's say we have q raised to power q raised to the power of x, raised to the power of x. So q raised to the power of x. So I think tonight we have been able to cover a whole lot in this Python refresher and the introduction of data engineering. And I'm taking this time to do all this because I know, then because I really know I would really love to go forward. So if I can, if you guys, if I can see on the comment section, I can still spend more minutes so we can go into conditional statements, like you know if statements. We can go into um the for loop, definitely you would still watch this over again for you to internalize more, to go into the for loop, to go into the while loop, and to be able to write functions. So at this point, I just want to know if anyone is still in the chat. If you are in the chat, drop in the chat and let me know that I am still here. I am still here. I am still here. All right. Drop in the chat. Let me know that I am still here. I'm still active. Let me see you that saying I am still here in the chat. I am still active, active, active. Or you can still put a like on it. Put a like on the video as well. Saying I am still here. I am still active. Can I see? Can I see someone? Can I see someone? If not, we'll just have to end the class and be going. And just you know, can someone just say I am still here? I am still active. So okay. I skipped something. The logical operators. Oh my god. So um the comparison operators and the assignment operators. Okay, what I'm going to do is for everyone joining this class, right? I'm going to give you the assignment operator as your own assignment, but I'm going to do the comparison operator. So for you to understand, you know, much better. Let's say the comparison operators operators. So comparing two values together, you have value A and value B. If you are trying to compare two values such as value A and value B together, so what you have to do is to put something like, you know, X equals Y. X equals Y. So we are trying to compare whether this is true or false. So, oh, I forgot to add a data type. That is my bad, my bad. So there is another data type we call a Boolean data type, which is just a true or false, right? So, so for these comparison operators, right, we are trying to compare two numbers like a X and a Y. So to compare those two numbers, what we need to do is you know, to be able to have X, then equals Y, you know, equals Y is we want to compare if X is actually equal to Y. In Python, when you want to, I'll have to say the answer of the assignment I gave to you. In Python, this sign is not seen as equals to. This sign is called an assignment operator. You use it to assign, you know, an object to a value or to a variable. The same way we did X equals to Y, you know, let's say X equals to 6. Let's say 6. Come on. You gave me a value and you want me to type it, man? X equals to 6. We can now say that the equal sign, this equal sign is what? An assignment operator. Is an assignment operator, right? So when we want to check this, so it's telling us that X is not equals to Y. If on the other hand, I wrote, let's say P is also equals to 5. Let's say is equals to 5. P is equals to 5, and I wrote X is equals to p, and I check this. X is equal. Let me check the value of x. Let's check back. The value of x we have. Okay, x is equals to 5. So let me reinitiate this. That's because I've initiated x is equals to, I've reassigned x to be. So now let me come to this place again and say, you will see that now is telling me that x indeed is equals to p, which is true, right? The next assignment operator, comparison operator, in which we will check is not equal. So let's say x, we know that x is equal, but the not equal sign, we use it to be the what they call this sign in English language, and equals to. Then with this, the x is not equal definitely is true. You know that x equals, then it should be telling us that indeed x is equals to p. Now, but let me say x is not equal to y. So for us to understand, that is also true because x is what? 5, and y is 10. From what we have, y is 10, right? X is 5, y is 10. Then there's also another way where you can, state your, you know, we have the greater than, we have the less than, greater than or equal to. I'll leave that for you to practice on your own, right? So I would have loved to go into a very powerful, you know, tool, in a very powerful kind of programming concept in Python, which is also in every programming language, which is called the if, the elif, the elif, else if, the else. With the knowledge of this, you can build your first program. If, elif, else. So I would wrap this up here. Then in the next class, we'll start with the conditional statements, understanding the if, the elif, and the else statement. Right. Thank you everyone for joining. I really, really appreciate you all. I appreciate everyone that has joined this class tonight. Um, thank you for making it a date with us, right? Then I know the engineering part can be really technical, but as much as possible, I'm trying to simplify everything for everyone to be able to follow along, right? So, but please, one duty you are going to do for me is just to practice. There was a time in which if I watch people do this kind of videos, it looks like I can never in this life, right, do what they do. But this is where I am today, behind this PC, being able to write this thing, being able to write programs. If you follow me on my TikTok, follow me on, you know, follow my GitHub publications, then you can scroll down to like 3 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and see the kind of codes I write, and move into 2026. So that is the gap between someone that kept on practicing something, and this can also be you, you know when you keep on practicing, and move from stage to stage, right? That can just be you as well, right? Thank you for joining this class. Then in the next class, right, I will be taking it up from conditional statements, which is the if, elif, else. I'm going to dwell more on this if, elif, else statement. Then we'll look at error handling. Then we'll look at loops in Python. How you're able to iterate over a task with the for loop, with the while loop. Then we'll now look at writing functions